Drivers, start your engines!
Yellow's out. Managed just about outwrecking him. And she busted her.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode 19?
Yep.
Wow.
We're on it.
It is Friday, June 17th at the time of this recording. I don't know if Dakota's planning on posting this today or not. But the green flag is out, and we are ready to roll 3 wide with DJG. Dakota, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Another rough week at work, as always.
Typical.
But excited to be back in the studio. Excited to finally be able to have the camera working again. Definitely going to get this episode posted today because I think it's going to be a good one.
I think so, too.
But how have you been doing?
Not too bad. Work's been, but they did give everybody a 3% raise the other day. So
well, that was nice of them.
That was very nice of them. I appreciate that. Paying $6 a gallon for premium in the old ST.
Yeah.
That 3% raise will help that a little bit. But for those of you watching, as you might notice, we are down a man today. Rest in peace, 8. No, I'm just kidding.
With our condolences.
He got caught up at work and won't be back in time. I'm kind of in a rush today, so it's my fault, really, that AJ's not on this episode. I apologize, AJ. I love you. But first off, I do want to say it is Father's Day weekend, so happy Father's Day to any of you that are fathers that are listening or watching. I just want to get that out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. I'm not a dad, but
he's my dad.
You're not my dad. So first, I want to ask you. We were at Eldora last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of it? Like, what were your thoughts walking in? Your first sight of the track, first time seeing cars go around the track in person. What were your thoughts?
So, my thoughts were, I was excited. I'd never been to Eldora, obviously, and I was expecting it to be a big weekend, whatever. I don't think my thoughts really, they weren't as high as they should have been, I guess, because, when I first walked in, you were like, here it is, and I was like, holy shit. Because, we've ran it on iRacing, and I kind of just assumed that it would be like that. The track seems small on iRacing. And then when you walk in, you can see the whole track. I'm like, damn.
It's
pretty massive.
It's big for a dirt track, yeah.
And the facilities were great. Probably one of the best racetracks I've been to.
Concessions are cheap, except for that one concession that we went to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was $2 beer.
And they had a whole ass bar area where they would make you drinks, bartender.
We had the old toilet water.
Yeah, it was good. I highly recommend.
It was very good.
Yeah, I mean, for my first big dirt race, I've been to Circle City, but that's equivalent to Mount Lawn, I guess. And then you go to Winchester and you're like, oh, definitely am a huge fan of dirt racing now.
Seeing late models. I've never seen a sprint car in person go around Eldora, but watching late models it blows my mind every time.
Yeah.
You hear the engine roar the entire lap. They don't let out of it unless they hit the massive rut that was in turn 1 and 2. I don't know how we didn't see a car flip.
No, yeah, that's what I was expecting too. I was seeing that cars were off the ground, and I was like, damn.
Yeah. It's crazy because they hit the rut and then you just hear the engine wind up super loud, and then there's a couple times where a car snapped hard right in the middle of the turn and ended up hitting the wall. Luckily, nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
They did have a medical emergency the first night there, and I believe I figured out what it was. I think one of the drivers got hit in the face with a chunk of mud or something from a car in front of him, and he pulled off, and so they red flagged the race for that. So hope the driver's okay. I'm sure they are. I haven't heard anything to say otherwise.
Yeah.
But no, I will never not love going to Eldora.
Yeah.
Now, I've only been, not now, but I had only been for the World 100. But, it's the same. I shouldn't say the same thing, but, it's late models on track. They're racing. It's phenomenal racing.
Yeah, I think the racing was great. The atmosphere was amazing. The fans were great. you see some stuff that you never thought you would see.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that later. Trust me.
But it was a great weekend. I enjoyed it, and I am grateful that you guys invited me to go, and I hope I can take part in it again.
Oh yeah, we'll have to go to the Kings Royal and watch some sprint cars because I think it's going to be totally different. I mean, they're obviously still going to be flying, but like obviously it's not late models, so it's going to be a little different.
Right.
So, Eldora recap.
All right. So they for the million, they had 6 heat races. Heat 1, your top 3 that transferred were Chris Ferguson, Mike Marlar, and Shannon Babb.
Yep.
Thank you. Heat 2, Kyle Bronson, Ricky Thornton Jr., and Spencer Hughes. Heat 3, Bobby Pierce, Tim McCready, and Johnny Scott. Heat 4, Devin Moran. I will say he ran the A feature, and he was in the top 3, I believe, and maybe had the lead at once. I don't know. It's been a while, but he definitely got up to the front. I was like, I'm rooting for him because, his dad had won the first one.
Yep.
And I know they were making a big deal of that, and I was like, it'd be cool to see him pull that off. Earl Pearson Jr. and Dennis Erb Jr. Heat 5, Jonathan Davenport, Daryl Lanigan, and Trent Ivy. Heat 6, your final heat race, Hudson O'Neill, Greg Satterley, and Ricky Wise. Transferred to the B main. B feature number 1, Jimmy Owens and Nick Hoffman transfer in, and then B feature 2, Dale McDowell and Brennan Shepard transfer into the A main. Your top 5 winners of the A main, top 5 in the A main were Jonathan Davenport, Chris Madden, Devin Moran, Tim McCready, Chris Ferguson, and Dale McDowell. We went back to watch the Dream, but weather was not kind, and the race, I think they got 18 laps in? 14 laps in. They were holding out for a while. I don't think they called the race until...
it was late.
Late, 1, 2 in the morning, because I was at a friend's house, and...
I don't think it was quite 1 or 2. It was before
pretty
midnight,
late.
But it was late.
Yeah, my mind is... But they will be making up that race on September 7th.
That's World 100 weekend, which is what TJ said they would do.
Yep.
But I just want to note that, they were racing for $1 million, and they raced very clean and respectful to each other, which is not something I was really expecting to see.
Yeah.
You put $1 million on the line, there's a lot of guys out there who be like, I don't care who you are, I'm running you over.
Yeah.
But no, the feature was really good. They ran through the first 80-something laps or whatever, and green flag, nothing. And then they finally had a caution. Jonathan Davenport just kind of took off and left everybody. Just straight took off. And then it was Tim McCready ended up moving into second and was chasing him down and, catching him quick. And I believe he got a flat tire. And in the last restart, nobody had anything for Davenport. So he ended up winning. Good for him. $1 million richer,
Must be nice.
Oh, yeah, must be nice. But it was really good racing and very clean racing, enjoyable. I can't say I would race somebody that clean for $1 million.
I couldn't say I would either. I would give them a couple grand afterwards, but... Yep.
And then going back Saturday for the Dream, they kept everything moving very quickly. They tried. They should have started it a little earlier. I understand why they didn't, but trying to race weather didn't work out.
Yeah.
So getting onto the things we didn't think we would see at the racetrack. So we're sitting in our seats, and it started raining once. So we kind of walked down, and we were standing down by the porta potties, just hanging out. And then they got the push trucks out on the track, where trying to keep the track alive, so they didn't have to rework it or anything because of the rain. And then very quickly had cars back out on the track, and then they got going, and then it started raining again. And this time it was not going to stop anytime soon.
Right.
And luckily it wasn't raining hard. We weren't soaked or anything. We're like, well, let's go back to the truck. We can sit there and listen to the track's radio station to kind of decide listen to what they decide, figure out what we want to do. Do we want to stay? Do we want to go? And it's a long walk from where we were sitting to our truck. And so we get there, and I'm like, well, we popped open the back, and so, like, we had a little awning above us, if you will, and we were standing there. But anyway, walking to the truck, we literally look at the car that is parked to our right. Like, if you're standing at the back of the car facing towards the front of the car, it's to our right. And I'm gonna go ahead and preface this with this little tidbit of information right here. When we parked, we skipped that spot. We left that space open. So there was like a blue Dodge Ram, and then it was open from there on down. We skipped that one spot and parked where we did. Well, walking back, we noticed that there was somebody lost their rig.
Before you say anything else, I want to. Okay, they saw it before I did, but I was admiring the vehicle because it's a brand new Ford Expedition.
It was very nice,
very brand new, and I was looking. I was like, "Damn, that's a nice looking truck, SUV, whatever." And then they noticed it first because I hear them laughing. So I look down, and then I see what you're about to share.
So we're walking by it. And the funniest part of this, where I got the somebody lost their rig, is my grandpa just nonchalantly looks at what I'm getting ready to say and says, somebody lost their rig. And it was the funniest thing. I don't know why, but I think it is hilarious. So somebody, here's what I'm going to say. There is a serial pooper walking around Eldora parking grounds. So someone either was not feeling too well and couldn't make it to the porta potties that were like a minute away, or just refused to and decided to relieve themselves on the wheel of somebody's car, and then wiped with a pad. So TMI for some of you, I apologize, but it's hilarious. So we came to the conclusion that it was either one of the owners of the vehicle, or someone was just walking through and had to go. Well, there's no way that they got clean.
No.
After that one wipe. It wasn't a ghost wipe. I can tell you that right now. There's no way.
No.
But it was all in the brake and everything.
It was, yeah.
And so we're sitting there, we're cracking jokes, and Dakota's standing next to me, and we're just laughing, cracking up, having a great time. And we hear the vehicle unlock.
Yeah, and like the mirror. So I noticed it because I was like, I'm waiting for him to come up. The mirrors are like this. They're like pushed in because that's how the car is.
Yeah.
And then it unlocks. I saw the light flash, and then the mirrors go like this. I was like, they're coming. So I'm like dying. So I run to the other side of our truck, and I'm like hunched over laughing, and I'm like looking to see like what you guys were doing. And then
so there's a man and a woman. I don't know if there were a couple, not important here.
Yeah.
Either way, they both rode in the same vehicle. And she got in the passenger side. He walked around the passenger side and put stuff in the back. And then walked to the driver's side of the vehicle, which is where the accident occurred. And just climbs in the truck and starts it and backs up. I'm like, I know he saw it.
There's no way you couldn't miss it. Like you would have seen it.
You couldn't. And just drives off and act like nothing happened. So that leads me to believe it was one of them.
Oh, you think he might have done it, and then
it was him or her.
She's like, here, all I have is a pad.
Right. I think it was.
And it was like, I don't care how fucking desperate I am. I'm going to shit my pants before I drop my pants and shit on the ground, regardless if I hit a wheel or not, because that was like open. It wasn't like secluded.
It was broad daylight.
That's what I'm saying. So people would have seen it.
We were like 20 yards from the road, too. That means somebody driving by saw you literally pants around your ankles, squatting on a truck, just letting
and shooting shit,
opening the floodgates.
And there's like, I wonder approximately how far away they were from the vehicle.
I'm betting they were leaning. Their back was up against it. But I'm like, either they have poop on their pants
Or on their thighs.
Somewhere. Because it was one of those, I'm like, it had to be one of those where, like, they dropped the pants and it was coming. Like, there was no delay.
Yeah.
But anyway, the funniest part about that is my grandpa going, somebody lost their rig. Like, just nonchalantly walks by it, looks at it, says somebody lost their rig, and keeps going.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I died. It was hilarious.
I think I laughed so hard that I almost puked. So, God bless him. He's funny.
But, yeah, that was not something I expected to see at a race. I'm sure weirder things have happened at a race.
Oh, for sure.
I know, but, like, that's just not something I was expecting to see in broad daylight.
Yeah. Can't say I was expecting that either.
No.
Whew, all right. Moving on to the NASCAR recap.
NASCAR.
Daniel Suarez scores his first career win at Sonoma.
Mi amigo.
Yeah, I'm so excited for him. I knew with him being at Trackhouse and Ross's success that it was a matter of time for him to finally get one. So I'm excited for him. Buescher, McDowell.
It's the weirdest top three.
I was gonna say I'm not surprised only because I can't speak for Buescher, but I know McDowell. He used to be a road course racer, so he has experience, and he typically runs pretty well at road courses, unless he's involved in something or mechanical issues. But Harvick and Cindric round out the top 5.
That makes Ford the top 4 out of the top 5, right? Because Buescher's Ford, isn't he?
Yeah. So
McDowell's Ford, Harvick's Ford, and Cindric's Ford.
Yep.
Harvick finally got him in top 5. That's nice.
Yeah. Rare.
Did you see his comments about his pit road or his pitting?
I did not.
Pit stops. I guess they tried to make a move at the end to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an awful pit stop, and he said, "We look like the biggest effing wankers every week on pit road."
Oh boy. No, but that is funny. Xfinity Series was at Portland. Allmendinger takes home the win. Myatt Snyder, Austin Hill, Josh Berry, and Justin Allgaier round out the top 5 there. I wasn't able to watch any of these races, unfortunately, but
we were very busy this weekend.
Yeah, very. And then trucks were at Sonoma with the Cup Series, where Kyle Busch took home the win. Zane Smith, Ty Majeski, Ross Chastain, and Chris
Chandler
Smith round out the top 5. This next piece of news is very big, and I put it on the second page of my notes here, of our notes, but I want to start out by saying, well, actually, we'll go in order. So I'll let you take the lead on this one if you want.
Okay.
But it is very big news.
So we do have rather limited info on this. Since like the day that we were aware of it, I haven't really seen much else on it.
Yeah, and I tried looking today and wasn't able to find anything other than speculation. I mean, it was confirmed that tires had something to do with this, but as far as
what exactly,
as there's not much more that we know about that.
So, Cole Williams and Rackley WAR controversy. So Rackley sponsors Matt DiBenedetto's truck. They're pretty big in the racing world. Mm-hmm. And I guess Cole Williams has been part of their driver program that they have, and had been renting a car from them and racing it, and he's doing really well. He's a good driver.
Yeah.
So Rackley released a statement on Twitter June 7th announcing that they have released Cole Williams from his driving duties. Cole followed up with the announcement that stated, I learned just yesterday evening of some events that had transpired over the weekend that I do not condone or support, of which I can clearly and honestly say that I had no prior knowledge. Unfortunately, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it and figure out what my future holds. Thank you, Rackley, for the opportunity, and please allow me the personal time I need to process these occurrences. So, upon further investigation between Dakota and AJ and I, people were saying, first up, we kind of brought up how we thought maybe it had to do with the speculation of people selling votes for the SRX deal that they had. And then someone asked on Twitter if tires had something to do with it, and Matt Weaver, very reliable source, so did confirm that it had something to do with tires, but went on to say the following. It's a byproduct of the lack of transparency. I've got a really good idea of what happened, and for a variety of reasons, I can't write about it. It would be beneficial for the entire industry if everyone spoke candidly about it, because this is what happens in the absence of it.
And I will say, as a racing podcast, regardless of how small we are considered a part of the industry, and I am more than willing to talk about it, even though Matt Weaver, for whatever reason, cannot. Now, again, we don't know more than it was about tires, but the speculation going around about the tires is that somebody associated with Cole had stole
24 was the number I saw.
Plus tires, a large amount of tires, and had sold them back to him cheap. And it was pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Suspicious. Because, we are in a tire shortage. So for one team specifically to come to a track,
never have any issues getting tires.
Yeah. And so, that is the speculation. Now, I did see, going back to do research for the show notes today, that somebody had said that he didn't steal from a team specifically because they put a car number, and they said something along the lines of they didn't steal from this team, but there is a team they stole from. Again, this is all speculation at this point, but we know it's about tires, and, it would make sense that tires were stolen or somebody had access to tires and helped him out. Now, we had talked about this before, and I wanted to say that, I like Cole. I don't have a problem with him, but I find it hard to believe that he had no idea.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you really think that he had no idea?
If he had no idea, then he is very oblivious. Because, and then, before I continue on, I did ask, how does this development program work? Was it he was racing out of their shop, or was it they had a car in his shop? And I haven't gotten much information on that either. I think AJ had said something, but I don't want to say it and then get it wrong. But I also kind of find it hard to believe that maybe Rackley didn't know about it, and they're just trying to cover face. That it's a theory. I'm not saying this is fact, but
I could believe Rackley not knowing about it more than I can believe Cole not knowing about it. Because Rackley, they have the driver development program, but how directly involved are they with anything beyond, hey, we have the driver development program, we want you to be on it, but the rest is on you.
Right. And that's why I think it's important to find out what that partnership looks like, to see how much involvement does Rackley have and how much involved Cole is. Mm-hmm. Because if Cole had, if Cole truly had no idea, then it's not him running his team, and it's somebody else that he's entrusted to run the team.
Here's my thing there. If Cole is more of the type of driver that's lets everybody else work on the race car and then just shows up at the racetrack to drive it, I could see it.
Yeah.
However, I don't think one bit that he is that type of driver. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying he works on the cars and does everything and like that, but I at least know, based on I follow him on social media, based on his social media presence, that he is in the shop quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Whether he's doing anything or not, I don't know, but he's there.
Yeah. So, that's my thing. What did this partnership look like? How involved was Rackley? How involved was Cole? Did Cole really know about it? I have a feeling that Cole might have known about it and just didn't say anything, not expecting to get caught. And I'm not trying to bash on anybody here. It's just an interesting situation. And then when you have Matt Weaver, tweeting about things happening in the absence of transparency, it's interesting to see what else is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And then I wanted to address the controversy around, or the suspicion of people selling votes. Now, the reason why I found out about that was because, and I won't say his name, but another driver had tweeted right after these announcements were made, saying something about people selling votes to help drivers get into the SRX ride at Nashville. So it's a very interesting situation that's playing out. It seems like it's not just tires; it's also speculation of other things going on. And it sucks because nobody that I follow anyway. I mean, Matt Weaver was the only person that I've seen talk about it. And obviously he has reasons why he can't talk about it. But it's interesting to see that nobody is really discussing the situation and trying to figure out, what happened, how did it happen, and how to prevent it from happening again.
Now, this is just me kind of spitballing here. And, the similar issue here with the tires might be happening in the dirt world too, and they just haven't been caught yet. But, I think obviously there's a big tire shortage right now, so everybody's having issues getting tires. So, I mean, I get you're struggling. I get the whole, okay, I get tires, I can have somewhat of an advantage over these people, but, you're not the only one having the issue. I would understand a little more if you were the only one having an issue. It's like, we need these tires. You have enough, I need some, or I can't race.
Right.
But every other team is having the same issue. Now, this transitions over to dirt because, we've always talked about how in dirt, people don't want to beat you just because you have a failure, like a mechanical failure, and you're out of the race.
Right.
They want to beat you because they are faster than you on the track. Like, they are just better than you on the track. It's not I'm going to beat a dead horse, beat you because you can't race or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's helping everybody. Not obviously people do their work on their cars to try to get a competitive advantage. That's different.
Yeah.
But, if someone has an issue, it's like, hey, I have the spare part. Here you go.
And, I mean, we saw that at Eldora when, what is his name? What the fuck is his name? I'm trying to think. Long-haired guy.
Bloomquist?
Yes. He had an issue with tires where he had all new tires on his car, and he was only supposed to be able to change 3. And I remember them saying, there was tons of people from different teams there trying to help him get tires on his car before the feature started. So I've seen that multiple times in the dirt world, not as much as in the asphalt world, but I've seen a lot of teams helping other teams. We saw it at I want to say there was another big dirt race where teams were helping other drivers. But
I saw it that exact same night as the million. Or no, sorry, it wasn't the same night. It was the same week because it was Indiana Midget Week. Kaylee Bryson ended up, getting in a wreck and hit pretty hard, but she had to replace the whole front end of the car, which on a midget sprint car, whatever, replacing the front end is literally nothing. But the moment they got off the track, there was 4 people from 4 different teams over there helping him replace his front end so she could get back out on the track and race before the race was over.
I mean, they did it at Chili Bowl too, off the track, but. Yeah, I just wanted to add that because I agree 100%. I mean, you see it more in dirt than you do asphalt. But I did want to say dirt, tires in dirt are not holding up well either from Hoosier. And
not at all.
I saw basically peeling off the tread. And, drivers and teams are begging at this point for an open tire rule where they can
open up the tire rule.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they did that at Eldora this year, kind of.
Yeah.
They still had to run Hoosiers, but they were allowed to run different types. And I'm surprised being 100 laps on a rubbered up track the way it was, there weren't more tire issues.
Yeah. Oh, I know there were quite a few. And
they were
worried about it, but it could have been worse for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to talk about. I mean, I know we don't have a lot to talk about in that situation, but it is very interesting to see.
It's big news.
Yeah, it is.
And we will continue to keep updated if we find anything else out.
I was going to say it is big news, but there's not much being talked about. So I'm worried that we won't be able to ever find out what really happened or anything like that.
Speculation from here on out, which I hope not. But
it'd probably be better for both of the parties involved.
Yeah.
But I agree with Matt 100% on that. It needs to be talked about. So I don't have anything else to add to that.
I don't either.
Alrighty. Moving on to, I wanted to add this in, TQ Midgets at Shelby County Fairgrounds. The All-Star Circuit of Champions TQ Midget Series took on the Shelby County Fairgrounds yesterday. Okay. Matt Lux won the 20-lap feature.
Off?
Yeah.
Well, all right then.
Matt Lux won the 20-lap feature over Matthew Hedrick. Gosh, sorry. Tony Stewart ran and finished 18th, which is something rare for him to do. Your top 5 were Matt Lux, Matthew Hedrick, Robbie Rolland, Joey Paxson, and Dylan Powell. Local driver Addison True came home P12.
Good deal. Indiana Midget Week. Indiana Midget Week kicked off at Bloomington Speedway on June 3rd. Buddy Kofoid, Chance Crum, Kyle Cummins, Kaylee Bryson, and Justin Grant were your top 5. I will say a lot of the races I feel like got rained out.
Yeah.
Or had rain delays of some sort. Race 2 took them to Lawrenceburg Speedway. Buddy Kofoid coming out on top again. Justin Grant, Bryant Weidman, Jacob Denny, and Jace Park were your top 5. Tri-State Speedway. If you've never been to Tri-State Speedway, go. It's a drive if you're from where we are. It's down by Evansville, Hobstadt, Indiana, to be correct. But super awesome track. Chance will appreciate this shout-out. He took me there for the first time when I went down to visit him. And awesome.
Well, he did invite us to go.
Super cool track.
So if his invite is still open, I might make the 3.5 hour drive to go.
It's worth it. It's only about 3. It's not 3. Well, it might be 3.5 for you.
Yeah.
Because you're closer to Newcastle. But anyway, your top 5 at Tri-State. T-Mez, Thomas Mesereau, Buddy Kofoid in 2nd, Mitchell Moles 3rd, Kaylee Bryson 4th, and Kyle Cummins 5th, which surprises me. I guess it's in a midget, but Kyle Cummins in a sprint car at Tri-State is unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And Chance will tell you this all day. Unstoppable. Lincoln Park Speedway, June 9th. Top 5, Jacob Denny, Zach Dahm, Jerry Coons Jr., Brandon Crouch, and Mitchell Moles. Kokomo on June 11th, Cannon McIntosh, Jacob Denny, Justin Grant, Jason McDougall, and Buddy Kofoid. Gas City and Circle City were rained out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Circle City, I was really looking forward to going to Circle City, and then it was on a Wednesday. It got rained out, moved to Sunday, which we couldn't go Sunday because we were at Mount Lawn, and then they ended up getting rained out anyway. But I believe Buddy Kofoid ended up taking the Indiana Midget Week Championship or whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. So good for him. Then we move on to Indiana Sprint Week coming up. This will take place July 22nd through the 30th. Sprint Week will kick off at Gas City I-69 Speedway. From there, the series will travel to Kokomo. The first weekend will end at Lawrenceburg. The 25th of July, they will be at Circle City, which would be nice to go to. Followed by Terre Haute on the 27th, Lincoln Park on the 28th, and Bloomington on the 29th. And they will end at Tri-State Speedway on the 30th. Each event will pay $6,000 to win, $600 to start, and the total point fund is $20,000, with $10,000 going to the 2022 Indiana Sprint Week champion. Now, I know I won't be able to go to most of those races because it's kind of all over the place, but that's definitely something to check out on Flow. Mm-hmm. They have good coverage of pretty much anything that they cover. Yeah. And Indiana Sprint Week will be a fun one to watch. Especially for you, because you're just getting into dirt racing. So yeah. Any exposure to dirt racing that you can get, I suggest you take advantage of.
And I agree with that 100%. I remember we stayed up late one night to watch the West Coast swing at one of their tracks over there. It's fun. It's different.
It's very different.
Fun. And I love it. Wish I got involved sooner in dirt racing as a fan. But
hey, listen, I just started liking it like 2 years ago, so
yeah,
you're not that far behind the ball. It doesn't matter.
Right. So moving on to some local racing, Anderson Speedway was set to host the Vors Compact Touring Series for a 150-lap feature, which would have been the first in the Vors series history. They would have been joined by the Cannon Midgets, the
McGonigal.
Thank you. Engine Performance Late Models, and the Vintage Wrench Ford Division. Unfortunately, weather was not kind to them either, and Anderson was forced to postpone these events. The events were rescheduled. Cannon Midgets will return the 18th of June. Late Models will return July 9th. The Ford Division will have their race August 13th, and then the Vors Compact Touring Series will attempt to have their 150-lap feature on September 17th.
I just want to say, for the sake of me, I'm glad that it got rained out because I really want to go see Kyle run again.
Yeah.
Kyle Frame, he had both of his cars out there. I don't know who was running the other one.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but
both were out there. He posted updates, said they were both finding speed each time they went out on the track and were just getting better. Kyle said he turned his fastest lap he ever turned at Anderson, and I think he said qualified, second quick?
He had good qualifying run.
So I'm excited to see how that goes when they come back. You know, that gives him more time to run the car, get used to the car, work on the car, dial some things in. I think he will be more than ready to go when they come back to Anderson in September.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to be a win for him.
Absolutely. I will say, this is not a shameless plug, but I definitely recommend following Kyle on social media. I'll have it linked, but he posts updates all the time. He we've talked about it before, but his new car, I mean, he took us through the build on social media. I mean, it was a journey, but it was a good one to be a part of.
I mean, pictures, updates, everything. The entire process was on social media.
And I think, not to get off topic, but real quick, I think Kyle Frame does social media very well.
Very well.
In the late model world, asphalt late model world, I think Stephen Nassy does a fantastic job social media wise. Kyle Frame runs a lower division, but is phenomenal on social media. And then I also want to recommend following the VOR series. I mean, it's pro compacts, but it's a great series. I mean, the cars.
These guys put just as much time into these cars
and
as
money.
People do. Yes, time and money as people do with late models, modifieds, everything.
Yeah, and they always put on a good show. If you can go to Anderson September 17th, highly recommend it. Watching Kyle run around that track the time we went was great. I mean, he looks fantastic out there.
That was the first race in that car, was it not?
It was one of the first races. I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the first, and it was, probably, because we were both like, damn, that car's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, highly recommend following him on social media. Highly recommend watching the VOR series. I mean, it's a great group of drivers. I know some of them. But, yeah, I did want to add that. And then Mount Lawn Speedway will be back in action this Sunday, hosting the JW Photography Stock Compacts, CRA Late Models versus the Mount Lawn Late Models, Red Bones Pizza Crown Vics, and the Accelerator Race Cars Pro Compacts. Stock Compacts will start out the show with 20 laps, and then it will move into the CRA versus Mount Lawn Late Models for a 50-lap feature. Crown Vics will have a 20-lap feature, followed by the Pro Compacts with a 20-lap feature. Pit gates open at 1, grandstands open at 3, practice begins at 3:30, and racing begins at 6.
So, I want to go back to last weekend, Mount Lawn.
Yes.
I know you.
I wanted to do a recap.
I know you don't really want to relive this, but
no, it's okay. We can talk about it.
So, start off. So, if you followed Dakota, he's talked about how his car has had some issues where it almost acts as if it's in limp mode.
Well, we have a little bit of time, so we can kind of talk about this for a second. So, first race, car did really, really well. I was very pleased with it. Practice qualifying went great. Practice qualified 7th. Went out to the feature. We had a red flag.
You were running like 5th at the time of the red flag.
I mean, I was running pretty high up. We had a red flag. I decided to turn the car off because I wasn't sure how long the red flag was going to be, and it was getting hot. And I wanted to save gas because I was running pretty low too. And restarted the car after the caution came out. Did pace laps. Everything seemed fine. Green flag drops, and car is in limp mode. So wasn't able to finish the race. I ended up pulling off because I just could not keep speed. Brought it home. Dad and I took a look at it. Did some stuff to it, took it back out to the track for practice. Car, I ran 20, 30 laps about 3 times. The first 2 times, car was not doing anything different. The last time I took it out, the car picked right back up where it had left off. Thought the issue was fixed. Great. Went out last week, went out to practice. Car was in limp mode or whatever. I say it's in limp mode because it just was not producing any speed.
It wasn't technically in limp mode, but it acts like it is.
Right.
I mean, it's just no power, no drive, nothing. Like it's literally like he's out for a little Sunday cruise.
Right. Qualifying was the same. And then, so I was even debating on not even racing in the feature. I figured I would start the feature so I could get paid out, pull off, leave, whatever. I was over the car. I was pissed. Go out for the feature, not expecting anything to change. Fucking picks right back up where it had left off.
And let me tell you, this thing was flying.
Yeah.
This car was flying.
And I will say, that was the most fun I've ever had behind the wheel of a race car. I think that was the second best race because the first race, the car was phenomenal when it was running. Second race was phenomenal, but that was the most I've ever been racy. I mean, I was actually racing people, racing for position. You know, I was aggressive. I was like, this is fun. But that's what happens when you're fast.
You're battling back and forth with people inside, outside, inside, outside. I mean, trying to outbrake in the short turn. Like you were being very racy.
And it was fun. I highly recommend it. But so then we had another red flag. Kept the car running this time because I didn't want to.
You did keep the car
fuck myself over. Car's doing great. Last caution comes out for whatever reason. The car goes back into limp mode.
Yeah, last restart with like 5 laps to go. It just died again.
Yeah. Finished the race. Ended up coming home P13. But I was disappointed. Because I got out of that car. It was hot. I even told my parents, I was like, my seat, there were times where my seat was burning my legs. And I thought maybe the car was catching fire or something, but I think it was just running really hot. So it was like it had gotten into my seat. My seat got really hot, but I was like, I thought I was burning the bitch to the ground. Yeah, I don't know.
It was probably because you were driving the wheels off of it, dude.
That's what I'm saying. And
I told your parents, I said, hey, if he's going to be driving the car like that, one set of tires ain't going to last him all year.
Yeah. And so got out. Mom's like, are you okay? I was pissed because I could have had a good finish again. But I had drove the shit out of that car. I mean, I was like working my upper body. I was exhausted. And then, you know, it was upsetting to not be able to finish better than what the car had before. But I'm hoping now we got it figured out to where it won't happen again. But we'll see.
We fixed, you guys fixed what we thought what the issue was.
I didn't do shit.
So hopefully that fixed it. And plus, you were able to make a few other adjustments that you felt were needed. So hopefully when we go back out there,
fingers crossed that when we go out there in 48 hours, the car does what it's supposed to. I mean, like you had said, and I agree 100%, if the car runs like it's supposed to or the way that it has been, because originally, I mean, that car has never ran like that before, and we haven't done shit to it. I just found it, I guess. But if the car does what it's been doing, I mean, it's a fast car. And I have faith in my driving abilities to be able to pull off a good finish. So
I also want to note that now that you know how to adjust the timing and all that stuff, once you get the car running, make sure it's not dying on power and stuff, you can mess with that and you can gain a little bit or lose a little bit if you make the wrong adjustment. But,
right.
I mean, little things like that. That I don't know who it was. I don't know the guy's name, but he was showing you.
Matt, I believe Matt Rowe.
But he was showing you some little tips and tricks and stuff like that. So hopefully we can make some right adjustments and get you going.
It'd be nice.
Your dad's heat race was one of the most exciting things to watch.
It was, it was. I had walked up late. I think they had just started, and I saw him out front. I was like, all right. And he was able to hold the lead the entire race. And then I think I know what happened. But
so he had held the lead the whole race. Whoever one of the faster guys was kind of caught up in traffic trying to get through everybody. And then the last 2 laps, he finally caught up to Dakota's dad and was racing him on the outside. And going in, Greg was able to hold him and kept the lead.
He did a great job defensively.
They were racing door to door. It was good, clean racing. They weren't touching nothing. And going into the big sweeping turn on the last lap, the guy to Greg's outside got loose because he drove it, balls deep into the corner, super deep. And so he kind of got a nose out on Greg, and so Greg said, F it, I'm giving it the gas. And when he did, he ended up spinning himself out as well.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate.
It was.
But it's one of those things. He's fairly new. You
Yeah.
know, he's not really been in that particular position before. So he was just like, you know, you got to learn. That was definitely a learning experience. But he did really well. I can tell after watching him drive, he's getting very comfortable in the car.
Yeah.
He's learning some tips and stuff himself, and he's applying them, and he looks really good. And then, just like I said with you, when your car finally took off, I'm like, dude, who's driving this car?
You're right. Yeah. I mean, I do want to say, you know, it's not that Dad's never drove a rear-wheel drive car, but those cars are easy. I've heard.
Yeah, you give it gas you give it too much gas at the wrong time, it's going.
And but I, you know, and it was heartbreaking. He was pissed. Obviously, I would have been too. But you know, I told him, I was like, you know, regardless of where you finished at, I mean, that was a phenomenal job.
Good race, good driving.
And I mean, you're always learning stuff after you get out of that car. So I'm sure he learned his lesson, and will know better next time to just stay calm. He did come home P12th, so he did finish better than me in his feature. Out of like, I don't remember how many cars it was.
24,
and I believe somebody had said that was the record amount of Crown Vics at Matlon, which I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, but, that really makes me want to go race with them.
I was gonna ask, you got a time frame?
No, I don't. I gotta figure out where exactly to get stuff for the exhaust, and then I gotta get it all welded together, and which I don't think would be hard. I have the resources and people to do it, to help me with it. Just have to do it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon. I'm excited. It's like eating at me to see you in the wheel, behind the wheel of a race car. I'm excited.
I'm not scared. I don't want anybody to think I'm scared. I'm nervous. Absolutely nervous.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to do it. I think I'm just...
You're just not rushing it.
Yeah.
You're taking time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with
that.
Plus,
last weekend was my first time out at Mount Lawn this year to see the Crown Vic competition because everybody and their freaking brother is bringing Crown Vics this year. So it's just like I want to see, you know, from a fan perspective, who can I race? Who can I not race? Who should I stay away from?
Yeah.
Little things like that.
And that's good information to have. So nothing wrong with that.
All right.
I think that was it.
I think that's it.
It was a good show.
It was a good show. Yeah. I think somebody lost the rig.
Yeah. After today's episode, you're damn right.
Anyway, I don't have anything else. I don't think Dakota has anything else. Sorry for not having an episode last week. We didn't have anything prepared because we were busy. So we went to the Million, obviously, and we got home Friday morning. So going back to the Million, I got home and crawled in bed with my girlfriend at 4 o'clock in the morning, and her alarm to get up to go to work goes off at 5. So if that kind of tells you anything about, you know, we didn't have any time to really get anything put together. All of us were tired. Dakota had to go to work that night, so he was getting his sleep in.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah.
Yeah. But we are going to, because life happens, people, okay? So fuck off. No, I'm kidding. Life does happen, but we're getting it figured out. Hopefully we're going to be back to being consistent again, but hey.
We're here when we can be.
Yeah, and it's better than nothing.
And we do appreciate those of you that listen and give feedback and share and like and everything on social media. We do appreciate it. Just trying to kind of branch out, get our name out there. Yep. Oh, do you want to bring up the laps for...
Oh, yeah. DJG 3 Wide with DJG will be sponsoring 3 laps for Mount Lawn Speedway is going to have a 50-lap Crown Vic race. And the photographer wanted to get some lap sponsors. And so we are going to be putting up $10 for lap 32, 33, and 34 of that race. So exciting for that. And then I also wanted to add too, make sure you're following us if you're not on social media, because we have some big, I don't want to say big stuff coming, but I mean, we have, you can't see it, but I mean, we have plans for merch at some point soon.
I will say though, our Facebook is definitely the most active.
Yes. And that's just my fault, but Twitter's not hard if you have time. Instagram's difficult. Sucks. Yeah.
And I mean, I think Twitter's more annoying because we each have to log into it, and then randomly kicks us out, and then you have to log back in.
Oh, it's probably because I stay logged in, and it.
But I mean, I do too. So like,
Oh.
it randomly just logs me out, and I have to log back in. So I was like,
That's weird.
try to stick to Facebook. It's
Yeah.
easier.
I'd say we're definitely more active on Facebook, but we have plans for merch hopefully soon. I know we've talked about it before about giveaways. Literally finalizing the plans for that soon, so we're gonna have more information about that. So just follow us on Facebook. If you want to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, go for it. But we're not as active on there. But yeah, that's all I have now, I think.
All right. All right, everybody. We thank you for joining us for episode 19 of 3 Wide with DJG. Obviously, the plan is to be back next week, assuming everything goes well between now and then.
Assuming life doesn't suck next week.
Yeah. But anyway, we just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for, well, I guess the GoPro kind of cut out halfway, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for attempting to watch. But anyway, yeah, we will talk to you guys next week.